want to bring in now CBS's Holly Williams, who's on the ground in Istanbul. Holly, what can you tell us?
Well, Rena, at this point, what we don't know is whether this has been a successful coup or whether it's an attempted coup in progress. Remember, we heard not very long ago from the Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim speaking over the phone to Turkish television, and he said this is an attempt, it's illegal and it won't succeed. But against that stacked the most recent comment from the Turkish military, which seems to have been in an email delivered to Turkish journalists. They said that they have taken control of the country in order to maintain constitutional order, democracy, human rights and freedom. And in terms of what we're seeing on the ground here in Turkey, in Istanbul, the two main bridges that link the two sides of the city, you can see one of them just behind me, have been blocked off by the military. There are military vehicles at the airport. We've had military jets flying low over the Turkish capital, Ankara. And the most recent reports from the Turkish state news agency say that the military chief of general staff, Hulusi Akar, has been kidnapped or taken into custody by the soldiers who are involved in this coup or attempted coup.
Holly, what are you going to be watching in the coming days, especially as there's so much uncertainty. There was already instability in this country, the Syrian refugees coming in, the plight of them, the taxing on the country as well. The president has expressed that difficulty with that. And then obviously the attacks recently on the airport, people sort of on edge there. But was there a sense that this was coming on the ground?
Well, Turkey has a long history of military coups during the nearly 100 years or so of its history. But the most powerful man in Turkey, at least until now, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the president, previously the prime minister, spent enormous time and effort trying to curb the powers of the military and seemingly defanging the Turkish military with a series of legal cases that put a number of Turkish military leaders in prison. I think the thing that we're really watching for now is where is Recep Tayyip Erdogan? Where is the man who has been the most powerful person in this country now for over a decade? Because this coup or attempted coup is really all about him. He is an extraordinarily divisive character. People here in Turkey either love him or they loathe him. There is really nothing in between. And for the people who loathe him, what they don't like is that he is a conservative figure, he's a religious figure, and he has attempted to make this country more conservative and more religious during his time in power.
So can we say, Holly, do we know if this group that's trying to take power over establishing this attempted coup, are they less conservative? What do we know about them?
Well, the military is traditionally much less conservative. They are a secular force, if you will. They're on side with the people who want Turkey, by and large, to be a Western-style democracy, who don't see much of a place for religion in politics or in public life here in Turkey. Recep Tayyip Erdogan is an Islamist. Not an Islamist as we know Islamists in Iran or Saudi Arabia. He looks on the outside very much like a European or a Western-style political leader. But it has clearly been his aim during the 12, 13 years that he's been in power here in Turkey to bring religion into the political sphere, to make this a much more conservative country. And that's been extremely divisive.
And obviously people close to the president are telling CBS News that this is an attack against Turkish democracy. Clearly, many of those people close to him attempting to hold on to power and to show the outside world that they're still in power. But is there any sense on the ground of exactly who is in the seat of power?
Well, we don't know. Clearly, this is a coup or an attempted coup by the military. We don't know which group within the military. We don't know if there is a leader. I can tell you, though, that Istanbul, Turkey's biggest city, tonight, a Friday night, is eerily quiet. normally this would be extraordinarily noisy. Turks love to go out drinking and eating with their friends. Instead though, you can see it's pretty dark behind me. People have been encouraged to leave the streets and go home. There are checkpoints in this city on many of the main roads. So really an extraordinary scene. But what we don't know is whether this coup has been successful and the Turkish military is now in fact in charge of the country, or whether it's still ongoing, and then who in the end will be the victor.
Holly, you've spent a great deal of time living here in Turkey. We're hearing that the airport there is shut down, no flights allowed to come or go. How significant is that?
Well, Turkey's been through an extremely damaging few years. There's a civil war raging along its border with Syria. More than 2 million refugees have flooded across its border. Along with that, terrorism has spilled across the border. The war itself has spilled across the border. We've had a whole series of bombings in Turkey's main cities over the last few months. And that's been extremely damaging for Turkey's economy, both in terms of foreign investment, in terms of foreign visitors. This is, again, destabilising for Turkey. And certainly in the short term, we assume it will do economic damage to the country.
Okay, our Holly Williams joining us from Istanbul in Turkey on the ground. We are monitoring the situation there in Ankara, Istanbul, about an attempted coup, reports of an attempted coup, and people not clear exactly where President Erdogan. There are reports that he has left the area but still remains somewhere in Turkey. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rena Nine, and we are following this ongoing story. Breaking news out of Turkey of a military coup taking place right now in the country. You're taking a live look right now. On the left side, you are seeing what is apparently very close to what we call our Pentagon. Turkey's version of the Pentagon on the right. It's a bridge over the Bosphorus. No traffic allowed. Our Holly Williams is on the ground. Holly, what can you tell us?
Eerily quiet tonight, Rena. Both the main bridges.
We seem to have just lost Holly, as you can imagine. They were just reports about social media, internet running low, social media not even up. The connection may be a little tight. Again, we're following this. Reports of an attempted coup. Turkish media reporting as well that there were some hostages that may have been taken at the military headquarters in Ankara, and that Turkish Prime Minister, apparently there are also some reports that he is safe, and also some reports that he has fled the capital. It's unclear exactly where he is. Holly, I believe we have you back.
What's the question?
Just telling us, I was just wanting to ask you exactly what's the latest and what you're hearing on the ground right now.
Well, the latest is that we do not know whether this coup has been successful or whether it is simply an attempted coup that will in the end be defeated. We have rival statements, one coming from the Turkish military saying that they have taken over the country, another from the Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim, who said that this is an attempted coup, that it hasn't been successful, that it's illegal, and the perpetrators will be punished. But extraordinary scenes here in Turkey tonight. Both the main bridges here in Istanbul, Turkey's biggest city, have been blocked off by the military. You can see one of them behind me. We've also got military vehicles at Istanbul's main airport. We've had Turkish military jets flying very low over the Turkish capital of Ankara. Reports of gunfire in the middle of the city. And also, most recently, we've had reports from Turkey's state news agency saying that the head of the military, the chief of general staff, has been kidnapped or taken into custody by some of the soldiers involved in this coup or attempted coup.
Our Holly Williams on the ground in Istanbul. Holly, thank you for that report.